So as you begin to realize that this stream is always flowing and that you have a relationship with it, and if you will let every moment in time have some sense of awareness of whether you're pointed upstream or downstream, your life will go so much better for you. You see, in every moment, you only have two choices that you could possibly make. And those choices are, as I'm standing right here, I have the choice of feeling worse or feeling better. That's it. Some of you say, well, should I take that job? Should I marry that person? Should I run away with that person? Should I move to that city? And we say, those aren't the choices that we want you to make. We want you to make the choice as whether this thought feels worse or better. Because everything that you've been asking for is already over there in vibrational escrow calling you. You sometimes think that you are creating by making statements right here and now. I want a better paying job. I want a lot more money to come in, and I want to be respected when I'm at work, and I want people to treat me better. And many of you think that those kinds of affirmations and statements and goal setting are what are creating your reality. And we want you to know that's not what's creating your reality. It may be what's allowing the reality that you've already created, but you created your reality through the contrast that you've been living. You created the reality every time you said no to this, the assumed, known by source energy yes was on the other side of that. Don't you know most that you want to be well when you're sick? Don't you know most that you want more abundance when you don't have enough? Don't you know most that you want to be understood when you're misunderstood? Don't you know most that you want to be clear-minded when you're confused? Of course you do. And so as your life causes you to constantly mold this vibrational escrow, now your work is just to be cognizant of where you are in the stream. And we want you to hear us. We're going to say it over and over today. Please don't see it as your work to get your boat turned around and then increase the speed to where you want to go. Just get your boat turned around. The stream will carry you. It is our promise. The stream will carry you. And can you see what happens so often? Imagine being in the stream and you're paddling, so you're not getting to where you want to be. You're paddling. You're tired. You're ornery. You're not getting to where you want to be. Then you go to sleep and you begin moving. Then you wake up and you paddle. Take another course, go to a therapist, join another group, paddle. Get more resolve about how to paddle up the stream. That guy's doing it. He got a trophy. Best-selling book. That guy paddled really hard up. He dug a hole so deep for himself that it took him 5 years to dig out of it. And now he's got a best-selling book. Paddle. And we say, can you feel the difference between not paddling so hard and just trying to find something that causes you to just let go of whatever it is that you've got activated, and then the stream turns you? And then it happens again, but you let go and the stream turns you. Can you begin to get the sense that the more aware you are and the more consistently you are letting go of the resistant thought and letting the stream carry you, that the more you will be carried through the energies of fear and despair into energies of more overwhelmment and frustration, into more energies of hope and belief, and before you know it, you are consistently riding that wave of well-being, so that the gap between where you are and where you want to be is all a really good feeling gap. We want you to understand that it is possible to live in this physical body and to be off this world, which means seeing what's going on in this world and not be paddling against the current. It is absolutely possible for you to look at things in a way that allows the energy to continue to move through you. And that, friends, is really what the art of allowing is. It's learning to allow myself to be in vibrational alignment with this energy stream that is the greater part of me, that is always calling me toward that which I have become. Now, I want to take just a little bit more time on that statement, because this is such an exhilarating thing once it sinks in, once you cognitively understand this. So you were non-physical energy before you came into this body. Most of you are following that line of thought, and you understand it and agree with it. You were source energy before part of you projected into this body. And now you're here. You are having experiences where you know what you don't want, so you're asking for this, and you know what you don't want, so you're asking for this. You like this, you don't like that, you like this, you don't like this. And so you have been building from long before you came into this body, because there was stuff in your vibrational escrow that you put there from your intention, from your non-physical physical perspective. But now you've been here in this physical experience, in the leading edge of thought, expressing more and more and more. And so this new you, this you has become. And we really want you to hear that. When you ask for something more, the source energy part of you becomes it. The question is, what's the rest of you doing? It's sort of like a two-headed monster. We'd like both heads to get moving in the same direction. So the non-physical part of you has become the expanded you. And all feelings of dissatisfaction, all feelings of unfulfillment, all feelings that you would describe with any form of negative emotion mean without exception, you are not letting yourself stay up to speed with that which life has caused you to become. So we're just here to help you to begin going with the flow while you're here in this physical experience. We want you to begin closing the gap between that which you have become and that which you are allowing yourself to be, because you are supposed to be living a wonderful life. You came forth not to create struggle and trauma in order to overcome it. You came forth to explore variety in order to come to decisions, knowing that the full forces of the universe were there to assist you in the achievement and accomplishment and creation of anything that is important to you. You came into this physical body because you knew the exhilaration of riding that wave, of getting with that current and with that flow. And imagine what it's like when you are on that surfboard and you are riding that wave and life is still causing you to ask for this and this and this and this and this. There is no end to the exaltation and glory of the experience that you can live. There is no end to it, you see. But you got to go with the flow. You cannot go against the flow. You must let yourself be that which life has caused you to become. And you cannot ask anyone else what it is that you have become, because they don't know. They have no way of knowing. All they can tell you what they'd like you to be so that when they look at you, they feel better. And many of them will accuse you of selfishness as you try to follow your own path. You're just selfish, they say. And what they really mean is, you're selfish because you won't follow my selfish desire. Everyone is born with that personal preference. It is the basis of this universe. The other day, Jerry and Esther were in San Diego, and they so loved being there. And they were sitting in the monster bus overlooking a marina. And it was the day that Esther was finishing up the sound editing for the weekly tape program. And because of the number of people that are in the cycle, it had to be in the FedEx box at 4:30 that day. So there was not an option about whether she would do it or not. So she had her headphones on, and Jerry said, "It is such a beautiful day out here." And Esther said, "I don't want to hear it." She put her headphones on, and then Jerry said, "If you don't mind, I think I'm going to go take a walk." And Esther said, "Have fun." She didn't say it quite like that, but that's what she meant. So Jerry closed the door and went bounding down the walkway, and Esther watched him. He had a particular lilt in his step. It was almost as if he was screaming, "I'm free, I'm free, I'm free." And Esther put her headphones back on and went back to work. And then she thought, I am where I am, and what is what is. And I am going to do this because I must do this. I am going to do this. So I don't have a choice right now about whether I will do it or not without giving up other things that are important to me, like doing what I said I would do and keeping my word to other people. So I am going to do this. But I do have a choice about how I feel about it. And then she thought, I can complain and feel sorry for myself that I'm not bounding down the path with Jerry, or I can find another way of looking at this. And so then Esther thought, look where I am sitting, in the most beautiful city, overlooking the most beautiful water, in the most beautiful monster bus, on the most beautiful sofa in the world. And as she thought that, she felt her resistance soften. It was like she'd let go of those oars. And then she thought, and this wonderful computer that makes this such an easy process to accomplish. And then she thought, and this wonderful material, and this thing I get to do, that I get to be right in the middle of all of this. I get to let this flow through me, and then I get to hear it again, and then I get to apply it, and then I get to express it to others. And within less than 2 minutes, Esther had not only released her resistance, but she had turned fully and was moving with the stream. And we say to you, Esther's experience of editing that tape was more life-giving and more exhilarating than anything else that she could have chosen to do that day. In other words, where she is where she is. And this is the thing that we want you to begin to understand. What is what is. And so often you stand in the middle of something that isn't the way you want it to be. You weigh more than you want to weigh, or your body's sicker or sore than you want it to be, or if the person that you're with isn't treating you the way you want to be treated, or you don't have the money that you want. And we want to say to you, what is what is, and it's not going to change this red hot minute. What is what is. It is the culmination of what has flowed before. But if you stand in the middle of what is, and you breathe new life into your future experience by flowing downstream rather than pointing upstream, even though what is can't change very much right now, in other words, Esther still had to do the tape. What is will not change, but what's coming next will. Where if you stand in the middle of what you do not like, and you acknowledge why you don't like it, and you're right, of course, you're justified, it's wrong where you're standing. If those bombs dropping is wrong, you say, it's wrong. I can't stand it, it's wrong. But what we want you to understand is, as long as you are fighting against that current, you are not improving what's coming next. And you will not improve what's coming next until you make peace with what is. So what you've been living caused you to ask for things that are in your vibrational ask. Are you getting the sense of this? Isn't it wonderful to know that you cannot fail? You cannot not succeed. You cannot not get all of the things that you're wanting. And we know this so clearly because we know all of the things that you're wanting. We not only have seen them, we are them. We are pulsing them. We are calling you toward them. And when you let yourself begin to go in the slightest little way, you feel the relief that is your indicator that you're moving in the right direction. If you just keep that up, you got to get there. And you know what? As you begin doing that, getting there becomes less and less relevant because you're having such a good time in the stream. And we're always careful at what point we tell you that, because you always say, oh, Abraham, we get you. You're just teaching us to be happy without the things we want. And we say, pretty much. Because if you'll be happy without the things you want, then you're happy. And that's what you really want. And that's why you want all the things you think you want. It's because you want to be happy. So if we can teach you to be happy without all the things you want, we've done good, yes? But then you've got to get the things you want. You can't not get to those things once you get happy in the stream. Nothing more ever needs to be said about anything. We've just given you the total scheme of life, from who you really are to who you are becoming, to that which you are letting or not letting, letting or not letting, letting or not letting yourself become. In other words, that's the cycle of life, and it is eternal. And since it is eternal, don't you think that it is really worth saying, okay, I'm always going to be on my way somewhere. Maybe it's time for me to make peace with where I am, because there's always going to be some place I'm going that I'm not yet at. Yes? So if I'm making peace with where I am and feeling good where I am, haven't you just figured out the secret of your eternal life? Oh, and what fun you're all going to have in the different points in your river on your way to the different things that you're wanting, as you're rooting for each other and praising each other and knowing that each other will have success, and not nitpicking over who should want what, and not squabbling over resources because you understand that there are no shortages. It's so interesting to watch the religions of the world. It's enough that you fight over oil, but when you fight over God, that's just going too far. That's just going too far. When you say, God is only here where we are, and all of those other heathens out there, they don't have the path to God. And we say, God is downstream for everyone, and you can individually hold yourself apart from that well-being or flow with it, but it's not dependent upon what church you're standing in or what book you're holding. It's dependent upon which way you're pointed in this stream. And that which you call God, and that which you call right, and that which you call life, and that which you call love, and that which you call health and well-being, it's all downstream. It's all in the stream that feels like ease and passion and joy.